Welcome back. Welcome to RU Ketu, friends. Taking next in line, the misconception about planets and Rahu and Ketu undoubtedly figured in my mind. Most of the people think Rahu is so bad. Today, after this session, probably you will not say Rahu is that bad. One of the most deepest concept about Vedic astrology is the understanding of moon, the depth of mind or moon. As I say most of the time, mind has two parts, the intellectual or the logical part and the emotional part. At times, when emotions take over, we are not able to handle things, take extreme steps in life as extreme as suicide, as extreme as going away from our loved ones for little things. These are emotional decisions. And here, only Vedic astrology delineates moon in such a beautiful manner that it talks about moon and breaks it up into two parts. The inner self and the outer self. The outer self is Rahu, but it is part of the moon, part of my man, as the Hindus or the Vedic astrology calls it, and probably loosely said as the mind. Moon is my own reflection. What am I? Sun represents the outer world, how I project myself in public. But what is true me? What is the actual me? What the people may not even know, that is moon. My true self. And Rahu is part of my true self. The higher level of consciousness from the moon can be understood through the planet Ketu. My spiritual bent, my higher consciousness, my intuitions, my connectivity spiritually. Rahu, on the other side, talks about my connectivity on the earthy level. How I project myself. Am I projecting myself way above what I am really? Is my life full of lies and deceits? Is my life portraying something that I am not? Or on the other side, my life is portraying much less of what I am. This portrayal of what I am not is Rahu. And this is connected or is part of my mind. If my Rahu is strong, my ability to earn money and grow on this earth in this life increases many times. Rahu people are really scared because we've learned, and I have heard from many students and really at times scholars of astrology, that Rahu creates deception. Rahu will create deception. But I put it mostly because people think it that way. But the Shastra describe it that Rahu is smart enough to catch people manipulating. There is a lot of difference between how Rahu is to be understood. Rahu is the planet that can catch manipulations. Rahu is the planet that part of the mind which is so strong where can pick up lies. It is not lying. It can see through your deceit. It can see through your manipulations. It can see through a person when he or she is lying, when he or she is manipulating. Rahu is the planet that tells me that, look, this is happening wrong. He or she is trying to deceive or cheat. Some of the very intelligent people who know how to con people cannot con everybody. Most of the time, when they cannot con those people, they are the ones with stronger Rahu. As the best of the cons, they will catch immediately. The best of the magicians, they will catch immediately. The best of the stories you create for them, they will see through your lies. This is the power of Rahu. That is why I say this is the most misunderstood, one of the most misunderstood planet. The power of the mind to see reality through whatever or how many layers of deceit somebody is trying to portray. This Rahu is an earthy planet. Hence, it understands how Earth functions. This Rahu is an excellent manager. This Rahu is a planet that gives you lot of unaccounted wealth. Why? Because you know how to create wealth. Being an earthy planet, it understands the investing here rightly, investing there rightly, investing in lot of places in a different manner. Rahu is the planet which will never keep all its eggs in one basket. It will always find more avenues to earn righteously. Weak Rahu does what you call manipulations. And weak Rahu comes through a very, very weak mood or a weak mind. If you are an emotional person, you look for shortcuts. If you are a disciplined person having a stronger Saturn, Moon slowly becomes stronger. And if Moon is strong, Mars is strong in the chart, Rahu automatically becomes stronger. In our past sessions, we've talked about Mars, we've talked about Saturn, because they are generally categorized as malefics. And finally, we are talking about Rahu. As again, most of the time, it is the planet for hallucinations. It is the time for goof ups. It's the time for manipulation. It's the planet for undiagnosed diseases. Why? If my mind is tensed and I keep thinking a lot, naturally I will create disease in my body. What is the trait of stronger Rahu? The only one line most of the time they say, we'll see it. We'll manage it. Let's see. Let's get into it. Don't worry, it'll be done. Leave it to me. I will handle it. If you have the confidence and use phrases like this to people around you, to your family, to your friends, to your co-workers in the organization, you have a stronger Rahu. Somehow, your mind tells you that, look, I can handle this. Why I can handle this? Because my analysis power of my mind is very strong. Why it is strong? I have a strong Rahu. Excellent planet to get you out of the most uncomfortable situations. Why so? Because the mind has the earthy tendency. That planet Rahu will help you think that, look, now I am stuck. What are the ways I can get out? Rahu is totally misunderstood as a planet that will create problems for you, give you hallucinations in the mind. It's nothing of that sort. In only 5% of the cases, it gives problems to the mind. Rest of the time, it's all self-created. And self-created in terms are what? Self-doubt. A person keeps on doubting everything. Whether I'll be able to do it, whether this will be done, whether can I handle this properly. All these self-doubt talk about Rahu a lot. Friends, how to make the mind strong? The best way to make the mind strong is to taking care of the living relationship that represents moon. That is mother. That is women in and around my life who are like my mother. This is for people who do not have, are not blessed anymore to have their mothers with them. People who can take care of their mothers, do not argue with them, do not fight with them. With their blessings, moon improves. With their blessings, Rahu improves. People should have very, very cordial, respectful, loving relationships with their mother. Unfortunate are the people who are away from their mothers or do not have a very strong, respectful relationship with their mothers. Moon is going to trouble them. Rahu is going to trouble them for sure. The second upaya for people or the remedy who do not have their mothers around them, the thing that they can do is worship the Shivalinga. If you have a very weak moon, then every day. If you have not so weak moon, then only on Mondays. Go to the temples with where they have Shivlingas. Worship the traditional way that is to be done, and slowly you will find moon taking over, your mind becoming stronger. When moon is weak, a person is way too emotional. When Rahu is weak, he or she generally listens to people without using his or her mind. One advice comes from one side, the person moves in that direction. After some time, somebody advises the other way, he or she starts moving in that direction. If you do not have the stability or emotional stability and listen to people and then decide, you take counsel from everybody and go in every direction, then you have a weak Rahu. People think Rahu will give you undiagnosed diseases. At times, this is correct. At times, this is correct. Where we do not find in the initial stages diseases like cancer. Whenever you go for the test, you may not find at the initial stage. When Rahu, negative Rahu is dominant in the chart, it only comes out when you are heavily, your body is heavily under the influence of that disease, cancer. Rahu represents unwanted growth. This growth can be of ideas, this growth can be of money, this growth can be earning or creating more source of earning righteously, religiously. This Rahu could be having many friends in many different countries, all closely bonded with you. And on the negative side, it can give you cell growth, uncontrolled cell growth. That is what we call cancer. Today, the scientists are working, but in our Shastras, in the olden text, at the Vedic times, cancer or unwanted growth was treated or understood as an emotional disorder and not a physical disorder. Vedic astrology clearly explains that if you have something as cancer, there was or there is and there has been an emotional turmoil in your life. That is why when you do not vent out what is inside and it keeps on accumulating inside, it gives growth to dead cells. And these dead cells are part of Rahu. If one has a stronger mind, a positive mind, he or she can overcome a negative Rahu. Finally, to conclude, start, especially students who are way into astrology and are not new into this, probably would understand what I have just said. Do not take Rahu as a negative planet instantly on the face value. Give it time to understand. Give time to moon. Understand the depth of the moon, the dispositor, the aspects, the energy that moon possesses. How is the relationship between moon and Rahu? How is the relationship between moon and Ketu? Then only decide whether Rahu is negative. And again, you'll find in most of the charts, this Rahu is not that bad as people say it. Until next time, Pranab, take good care of yourself.